Good afternoon. What day is it? That's right, day 4. So, in truth, no one can technically quit sugar since we actually need the fuel carbohydrates give us for our bodies. It's what we run on, and it's present in vegetables and fruits and even grains, right? So, what we're learning in this process is how to eat in moderation. So when you end the 10 days, you may increase your consumption by around 10% and then practice that 90-10 rule of choice. So 90% of the time you eat healthy, and knowing that every 10 seconds you get to make a choice. So today I stared at a yummy chocolate bundle of joy and made the healthy choice. It's easy when you're in the moment, but it's a lot more difficult when you're just bored. So this is why most nutritionists will recommend clearing the house of items you crave before taking something big on. It's why I have 0 chocolate in my house. You know, this is what you're kind of practicing at. So boredom is one of the biggest contributors to the feeling of being stuck. So when that emotion hits you, it's like you can't get beyond it. We think of this choice as being too big or being not attainable, being a symptom of a mind it's really just not engaged in our full vibrations. We get stuck because we get stuck in this low vibration mentality, and so we don't take on the choices even. We just give up on the choices. Now, when you get that your body was created for you and you understand what it wants, then you kind of understand what you want. The problem isn't the boredom. It's the choice we make in those desperate moments of giving into this low vibrational thought pattern and refusing the true choice. And so what this does is this leads our lifestyle to complacency. And the longer that we remain unexcited about the life that you're living, then the harder it can become to motivate ourselves to look for ways to change, to look for ways to stretch into our truth, so to speak. So if you know that your body feels better without chocolate, which is my thing, the chocolate bar, then the question becomes, why are you choosing it? So one of the things that I say is make a list of different kinds of foods that you want to try, maybe different treats. Last night what I ended up having was I had some sorbet that was made from frozen berries, right? So that was a different choice. Think of different ways that you can simplify your food choices. Your list can include just baby steps, but you can also kind of, plan ahead and think about these larger leaps. But it's easier to start with the small stuff and work your way to bigger things. That's why we do this 10-day process. And once you get through the 10 days, then you can mix it up as the mood strikes. So I hope that makes sense. So it's important to know that when you're making a commitment to personal development, it's definitely a worthwhile investment of our time and any resources that you're putting into it. It's kind of growing into this understanding of what your body is and your being and your nutrition. As a person doesn't require formal education, or you don't have to spend a ton of money to determine what works for you. You know what works for you. You've been in this body long enough. If you ask your 3-year-old what works for them, they know what works for them. As we grow, we get into this mindset of, well, it didn't work for Joe, so it doesn't work for me. because, well, if Joe's doing keto and it's working for Joe, then I should do keto, right? If Joe is juicing, well, oh my gosh, I should be juicing too, because we get this mindset that doesn't expand and it doesn't kind of buy into this real truth that we know. We know when our bodies feel well, we know when our bodies don't, and we know how to create what we want. We just don't buy into that. So there's a ton of ways that you can expand your mind and become really more fulfilled, but you just have to choose. And so on day 4, I got to choose. I got to look at that big giant, we went to Mod Pizza. I don't know if they have Mod where you live, but we went to Mod and I got a Mod salad. My daughter was just starved when I picked her up and I didn't make her lunch today. And they have these no-name cakes that, you know, they're like a Hostess cupcake. They're just a little bunch of wheat wrapped in chocolate, full of sugar, and it makes you go, yum, 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 yum. But I know what chocolate does to me. I know that chocolate doesn't work well for me. Number one thing that I learned about chocolate is when I eat a lot of chocolate, and I'm healing up because I haven't had chocolate with this 10-day program, I get this little bump on my nose. That's from chocolate. Now, I also know from just, research that I've done that that's an area that reflects on my heart. So kind of like if you look into face mapping, if you look into like reflexology, things like that, you can kind of gauge what's going on in your body. So I know that chocolate is probably not great for my heart. And I also, since I was born, I have a hole in my lower tricuspid valve of my heart. And so when I'm choosing chocolate, I'm not choosing for my body. I'm not choosing in my truth. I'm choosing because I think, I don't care, it tastes good, and I'm going to eat it. And I'm just going to tell you right here, I'm just going to eat it, buddy. I'm not going to listen to you. That's what I'm doing. That's what we do when we get out of choice. That's what we do when we don't expand. We kind of internalize. We get small in our being. And that blocks off any sort of choices and any sort of possibilities that we have to expand in a different way, in a different manner. And so when you're really stuck in your health, and it doesn't matter whether you're thin, whether you're overweight, choice doesn't have anything to do with size, gender, any of these things. So when you're stuck in this, what happens is that you're blocking off any possibility to heal, because you're not open to the choices, because you've just taken and put this curtain up and said, that's it, choice. I don't want to hear, I don't want to think, I don't want to do, I don't care about the next 10 seconds. I'm living in my stupidity. And so we live in this sad little bubble of like nothingness. Like there's all this knowledge and there's all this opportunity and all of this like connection that we could be getting, and we don't get any of it because we shut it down. So as you're going through this process, as you're journaling at the end of the night, as you're doing easy movements, I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do for movements. You can just walk. You can park at the end of the parking lot and walk all the way to where you're going. You don't have to get up and be a giant, extreme CrossFitter to start changing your body. In fact, your body, if you ask your body, am I a CrossFitter? It's going to tell you if you should be doing CrossFit or not. Maybe your body's going to say, that is what I have been waiting for my entire life. Let's go. And maybe your body's going to say, if you walk me in there, I am going to hurt you later. And it doesn't mean it's going to hurt you because your muscles are sore. It means it's going to hurt you by giving you all the inflammation and injuries that you can ask for because you made that choice. Every 10 seconds you can make a choice, and you made that choice. And so you have to kind of think of, what is your mission? So I've got this board right here, and on the board I'll read you. It says, my target is to create a world of greater vibrations through elevated consciousness and nutrition. And if I stick with my target, I'm not going to go buy the gluten-filled, sugar-filled, horrible little chocolate cake, that little no-name cake. I'm not going to buy it. But if I let myself close down, if I start working into the beliefs that there is no other choice, that you kind of you start talking to yourself like, well, I'm going to walk on the treadmill later. I can eat it. The treadmill has nothing to do with the pathways in your body and your microbiome being fed. So when you close off and you just say, oh, I'm just going to work out later, it doesn't matter what I eat, you've already closed off all the possibilities. And when you close off the possibilities, eventually it's going to get you. I don't care who you are, it is going to get you. Because I have been doing coaching between, I'm a certified personal trainer, and between that and then the life coaching and the business coaching and the nutrition and the energy, I've been doing this for decades. And I will tell you that you cannot hide from what you're doing to your body. You cannot get pregnant if you are not giving your body the nutrients that it needs to create this little being. You cannot escape the fact that even if you have zero body fat, that if you're not protecting yourself with against those free radicals, because every time you exercise, you're causing this inflammation and this oxidation. You can't hide from that. If you're not feeding yourself these polyphenols, and the antioxidants and everything, you are creating your future horribleness of health. I don't know how else to say it. So what I'm saying here on day 4 is that start thinking about your choices. Start actually making choices. Take back your choices. Because grabbing something just because it's easy and convenient is not necessarily a choice. It may feel like a choice, but sometimes it's just not. Here, Oliver, come say hi. Look, this is my buddy. Huh? Are you my buddy? Yeah? He's sleeping through his choices. That's his choice today. And he's smart because he knows that he needs to sleep. And your body does need to sleep. You moms that are staying up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because that's when you can get things done, the choice you're actually making is you're telling your body, I don't care that you need to rejuvenate while I'm supposed to be sleeping. You can't rejuvenate because I've decided that making a costume is more important than rejuvenation. I've decided that what my child's going to remember when they are in this world without me is that I stayed up until 3 o'clock in the morning to make this costume, and not the months and months and months of illness that I have because I didn't take care of my body when I was supposed to. It took me a long time to get that. When I first started business coaching, one thing I realized was that every client I got, their wellness circle was just like chaos, like an explosion. And it was because they weren't expanding this idea of what success was. They weren't expanding this idea of what change they could create if they just took care of themselves. And so it's important to understand that we are energy. And as energy and having all of these chemical interactions, we attract things. And if you're attracting chemicals, well, what's vital about that? If you're attracting negativity, what's vital about that? If you're attracting complacency, what is vital about that? So, maybe down below, let me know what you're struggling with, where you're not making choices, where instead you're just being reactive. Because there's a big difference between being reactive and making a choice. We're reactive all day long. We are reactive in such a way that you can get in your car and you can drive all the way across town without making any choices. It's completely reactive. You will get to your destination and you will have no idea how you got there. That is being reactive. Being a choice is you're looking out for the guy in the scooter that's on the side of the road that wants to cross the road. You're going to take a choice to wait a minute, to smile and let them go on. What does that smile create? Whoop, you just created something. Yay! You're making choices. You're not being reactive. You're not speeding around the corner so that you can cut them off, not even thinking really that you're about the cutting them off thing. Because who knows what you're thinking, because you're just reacting. Because that's how we have gotten into living this life, is just being reactive rather than being these energetic, amazing beings in this body that was created for us. It was created for you. Do you actually think that there's not a cell in this body that you cannot control, that you cannot heal, that you cannot be supportive of? Because the truth is, this body was created for you, and therefore, you're the one that is controlling it if you choose to step outside of your low vibrational bubble and choose. So, I guess day 4 is about contemplation. Not just choice. I guess day 4 is where you wake up, you clean the kitchen, you clean out a cupboard, and you just go, wow, like all the thoughts in my head, who knew? And there they are. So that's day 4. Let me know how your day 4 is if you're going on with this process. And if you're not in this process with us, then ask me how. Because I think you should be in our April group. So Oliver says goodbye. He's going to take a little more nap. And I say goodbye because I have to get ready to drive across town to get Paul and be present in that time and make choices. So there you go. My choice is water. So see you guys day 5. Bye.